Joe Hopkins here, and yes, Sleep Token. What makes them so damn good? How are they this good? And I say that because I really think they are that good in every possible way. And it's in every possible way because they are doing damn near every possible thing on so many of their songs. And I'll start with the mix of genres, which it isn't done for any stupid reason. It seems absolutely intentional, and all of it is designed to basically just build a very dramatic, cinematic, huge song time after time again that keeps you. It keeps you hooked. You can listen to an 8-9 minute song and it holds you the whole way through it. It stays fresh from beginning to end, and that's a difficult thing to do. A lot of bands do very long songs, and a lot of them have a lot of, usually there are at least a few changes throughout the song. That's normal, but these guys, holy crap, man. Well, first of all, they mix every genre. It's two guys, right? Vessel and Two. I guess the drummer's name is Two. I don't know. That's what it looks like. That's what I'm going to call him, Two. So you start, most of their songs start out pretty mellow, pretty easygoing. You have nice little piano, pop piano, classical piano. They mix all this stuff together. Or a slow R&B kind of mellowed rhythm with nice meaningful vocals, and it comes off really, really well. They hit a point in the song where just as you're getting used to that, they'll drop the heaviest down-tuned 8-string riffs I've ever fucking heard. And it's heavy, and it's so well done, and it's so on. The musicianship is just spot on. It changes time signatures, it changes feels, but in a very intentional way that builds the song. And it's like the way they do it, it doesn't give you that musical whiplash, like jumping from one thing to another should be a little off-putting. And they do it in a way that isn't, and it's very interesting. It holds the ear. Of course, whenever you have long pieces of music, you do need changes to keep the person interested. Bands like Metallica and other metal bands have done that, where a lot of changes throughout the song. Keep it fresh, keep it interesting. That's how you do a long song. Look at Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. It moves, it builds. These guys, Sleep Token, they are masters of building. And another thing that really helps it is just the drumming. Two's drumming is amazing. A lot of syncopation, a lot of little bits in there. It's not straight beats. There's ghost beats. There's, timed signature changes. There's throwing in little jazz and gospel influences. And keeps the song moving. And it gets big, and then it wanes. It gets big again. It's back and forth in a very intentional, pleasing kind of way. And I love that the second song on the new album, I can't remember the name of it now, but they finish up with that saxophone solo. You get some smooth jazz saxophone, like, most people who listen to hip-hop, metal, fusion kind of stuff wouldn't be into Kenny G, but it works so well in this context. And I love it. I love how it finishes up, and so many of their songs do that. They finish up where they started out, where it takes it back down. It's like you start here and it builds sometimes suddenly, and it's an up and down. They build a lot of tension and release in their music, and they use rather interesting chord progressions and interesting chords and interesting song structures to help do that build and release. Build the tension, release the tension, build the tension, release the tension, and quite often come to a rather satisfactory conclusion where it resolves, but sometimes not. Sometimes it doesn't resolve. Sometimes it doesn't resolve the way you would want it to, and it keeps a little bit of that tension at the end of the song. I would love to give examples and play little bits, but YouTube doesn't like people doing that. I really don't want my video to get blocked, so I'm just going to talk about it and recommend that you check out their stuff, especially their last album, Even in Arcadia, which is, in my opinion, their best album so far. But they're all great, and the production, it's another thing that really gets me with this. The production is so incredibly well done without being overdone. You know what I mean? So many pop and metal bands now, the production is what they call the loudness wars, where everything is compressed, compressed, compressed. These songs have so much breathing room. There are parts and there are certain instruments that are heavily compressed for specific reasons that make it work within the song, but a lot of it is just, there's a lot of dynamics, which you don't hear a lot in music nowadays. Everything's at the same level. And this isn't. It's very dynamic and also very, very clear. A lot of clarity in it, which can be difficult to accomplish with music that has so many moving parts. If you know what I mean. Anybody that's ever tried to produce their own music knows that the more parts you have, the harder it is to get them all to sound right. You know what I mean? It can be difficult to accomplish a certain dynamic range with all of this going on and all of it still be audible, like you can pick out the parts. And they do it amazingly. I forget the name of their producers. They do a absolutely amazing job on this. You know, there are other bands that have done that kind of thing, even back in the day. Led Zeppelin's stuff. You listen to a lot of their stuff. It's so well produced. Everything is so it's all right there. You know what I mean? There's nothing that's overshadowed or in the mix. It's hard to pull that kind of thing off, though. And there is so much going on with this. There are so many parts. These are huge, almost orchestral arrangements. And that's another part of why it has such a dynamic range. You have everything from like sub-bass parts all the way up to the high tinkling piano and the higher guitars. And the dynamic range is amazing. It's full, honestly, this is orchestral arrangements for popular music is essentially what it is. Very progressive, very just... It's hard to do music that big, to make it that big, make it sound that good, and make it also interesting to the listener. I think that's a lot of why they are as popular as they are now. And I can see why it's really two people. Because one person, like Vessel, I guess is his name, doing this on his own, it's kind of hard unless you're a seriously good drummer, because music like this needs solid, amazing percussion. So you need to get a drummer, right? It's always been that way. You need a drummer and you need a singer. I don't care how good you are at writing music and making music and playing all the instruments. You need those two things. Fortunately for Vessel, he's an excellent singer. But you take a look at other bands and they've had to import the same kinds of parts. Look at Boston's first album. I forget the name of the guy who put all that together, but he set up a studio in his basement and recorded the first Boston album. But who did he have to bring in? Drummer and a singer, because you need those two things to do something of that scale. Vessel is an excellent singer, and his voice really works for what he's doing quite well. Especially with the layered vocals and, you know, the way he approaches the vocals. It works excellently. I'm sure there's stuff he can't do. just like with any singer, and that changes how you approach your music a lot of times, is you pick the most limiting factor, which a lot of times is the vocals, to be honest. When you're doing a lot of it yourself, if you don't bring in a singer, what you can do vocally is where you go. But bringing in a drummer, yes, that you need that. Right, it's what makes, I think, the Foo Fighters so great, is the fact that Dave Grohl is a drummer and is coming at it from that perspective. And having a great drummer really does, for Sleep Token, makes this what it is. But yeah, I think they're an excellent band. You guys really need to check them out. If you haven't, I've talked about them on this channel before, but the more I listen to them, the more I'm like, no, this is more than just popular music. This goes into the composition level. This is modern classical music. This is modern musical composition at its finest. And of course, they're using modern instruments and making it a modern thing, but it is at that level. And they're one of the few groups out there that is doing or has done anything at this scale. If you know a little bit about music, you can listen to it and you can hear it. This is something more. And borrowing from every possible genre is what great musicians do. You listen to it and immediately you get the hip hop and metal influences, but there's a lot of jazz in there, and there's a lot of gospel in there. The two must have studied some of the great gospel drummers, because this guy pulls off some of their licks quite well. He knows what he's about, basically. And there is that very classical element in the song structure and the way it builds and falls and the tension and release and the composition level of it. And there's a lot of everything in there. And I appreciate it. I really do. I can't wait to hear what they do next. And everything you hear from them is different than the last thing, but also done in that same big quality style. And I do love the size of it, just the dynamic range. Like I said, all the way from as low as you can get in that sub-bass range where you really need good speakers to hear it, all the way to the higher end stuff. It's just so big and so cinematic. This is movie music for the average person. I don't know, something like that, if that sounds about right. But yeah, I'd put these compositions on par with, great musical compositions throughout the ages. This guy, if he'd have lived 400 years ago, would have been writing symphonies and minuets and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I really like what they do. I think it's worth checking out. That's why I'm making this video, to encourage you to check out Sleep Token. Give them a listen. Just listen to Even in Arcadia and work your way back. I think their newest album is their best. And check out my music as well. Right here, there's some playlists that come up. One says Talking Dogs. It's my new album. And one of them says, I'll put my music videos on there. Check out some of my videos. They're kind of cool. I'm not a great videographer, but I do the best I can. And I'll see y'all in the next video. I love y'all. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.